Has the war between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively gotten so toxic that Taylor is ready to revoke her role as godmother to Blake's kids? Let that sink in. We're not just talking about a friendship ending, we're talking about one of the most personal, intimate titles you can give someone being stripped away. Taylor Swift, the woman who turned breakups into platinum hits, is now facing whispers that her godmother role to Blake's children is done. But how did it come to this? How did two women who once seemed inseparable, red carpets, inside jokes, and even family ties, spiral into icy silence, backstabbing headlines, and a feud so bitter that the kids are caught in the crossfire? Buckle up. This one's messy. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively weren't just friends, they were Hollywood sisters. Their friendship wasn't one of those casual industry acquaintances. Taylor didn't just hang out with Blake, she wove Blake's family into her own life. Remember, Blake and Ryan Reynolds named Taylor the godmother of their daughter James. That's not just a brunch buddy title. That's a lifelong promise, the ultimate stamp of trust. Back in the squad era of Taylor Swift's career, when she collected A-list friends like Infinity Stones, Blake was one of the crown jewels. They vacationed together, showed up at each other's premieres, and even collaborated in subtle ways. Ryan and Blake's daughter's voice? Yep, featured on Taylor's track Gorgeous. That's how close they were. But here's where it gets interesting. Even during the height of their friendship, there were whispers. Blake was never fully embraced by the Swiftie fandom. Fans described her as icy, calculated, and the word that keeps resurfacing, controlling. Meanwhile, Taylor's other friendships began collapsing one by one. Remember Karlie Kloss? Selena Gomez? The internet started noticing a pattern. If you get too close to Taylor, sooner or later, something breaks. And as Taylor kept building her empire, stadium tours, billion-dollar net worth, Time's Person of the Year, Blake was fighting different battles. On the surface, she looked like Hollywood royalty. A-list husband, red carpet queen, luxury fashion muse. But beneath that glossy image, cracks were forming. Fast forward to It Ends With Us. The film that was supposed to rebrand Blake as a powerhouse actress and producer quickly became a PR disaster. Legal battles, accusations of control on set, and behind-the-scenes feuds left her reputation bruised. Suddenly, insiders weren't calling her America's sweetheart. They were whispering a different title, Hollywood's Queen of Mean. And while Blake was battling in court and in the press, Taylor was preparing for one of the biggest announcements of her life, her engagement to Travis Kelce. Here's where things get nuclear. When Taylor dropped the engagement news, the internet exploded. Swifties trended hashtags. Gigi Hadid and Cara Delevingne publicly congratulated her. Even former frenemies showed love. But Blake Lively? Radio silence. And that silence spoke louder than any words. Because what looked like just a missed text was actually the start of one of Hollywood's messiest feuds. If you want more inside scoops like this, make sure you're subscribed. This is just the beginning. Let's get into the heart of it. Radar Online dropped a bombshell. Taylor Swift is allegedly revoking her role as godmother to Blake Lively's kids. Yes, you heard that right. The godmother role, one of the most intimate connections between families, may now be off the table. At first glance, it sounds too outrageous to believe. After all, who punishes children for their parents' mistakes? But sources insist Taylor has no choice. The friendship has collapsed, trust has eroded, and Taylor doesn't want blurred obligations lingering. Translation: she doesn't want to be tied to Blake at all. But why would Taylor go nuclear now? Enter Blake's growing reputation problem. Behind the camera, Blake has been described as controlling, difficult, and even terrifying to work with. After her feud with director Justin Baldoni over It Ends With Us, whispers spread that she launched PR smear campaigns, manipulated narratives, and retaliated when things didn't go her way. Directors started quietly backing away. Studios grew nervous. One Hollywood insider even said, "No one wants to end up the next Justin Baldoni." Now, imagine Taylor Swift, who has meticulously built her brand as untouchable, aligning herself with someone whose career is drowning in negative headlines. It's not just awkward, It's a liability. And then came the silence. Taylor announces her engagement, a moment that should have united her inner circle. Everyone from supermodels to estranged ex-friends showed support. But Blake? Nothing. Not even a like. Not a comment. Not a whisper. To the public, it looked like indifference. To Taylor, insiders say, it felt like betrayal. This is where the rumors get spicy. Allegedly, Taylor is so serious about cutting ties that she's considering formal notice. As in, actually sending word either through a mutual friend or even a lawyer that she no longer wants the godmother role. Does that sound extreme? Absolutely. But think about it, Taylor doesn't just end relationships. She writes entire eras about them. When she's done, she's done. And the godmother role? That's a reminder she no longer wants attached to her life. Meanwhile, Blake is said to be begging for reconciliation. Insiders claim she's tried repeatedly to reach out, texts, calls, mutual friends, all ignored. At this point, she's stopped bringing Taylor up at all, quietly accepting the friendship is over. And fans? They're divided. Some say Taylor is doing the right thing, protecting her peace, setting boundaries, and refusing to let toxic relationships linger. Others argue she's going too far, punishing kids who had no say in the drama. So far, Blake's Hollywood reputation is collapsing, Taylor's patience has snapped, and the godmother role is now on the chopping block. But the fallout doesn't stop there. What do you think? If you were Taylor, would you cut ties completely, even with the kids involved? Comment yes or no below. If you're still watching, hit like and subscribe. It helps us dig deeper into Hollywood's darkest secrets. The internet, of course, had receipts. As soon as the rumors broke, Swifties began digging. Screenshots of Blake's silence, resurfaced interviews where she described needing authorship to feel fulfilled, even clips from red carpets where she allegedly iced out other actresses. Hashtags started trending, hashtag silent betrayal and hashtag queen of mean. Meanwhile, PR campaigns began spinning the narrative. Articles popped up painting Justin Baldoni as arrogant, privileged, living like a prince while Blake was fighting the good fight. Fans weren't buying it. Comments accused Blake's team of flooding the zone with sympathetic coverage, while others mocked the idea that Baldoni's luxury lifestyle was scandalous in Hollywood. One fan put it bluntly, "Ryan, is that you? Writing scripts to make Blake look like the victim." Another, "Nobody believes Blake's sitting at home in a bathrobe." The backlash wasn't just against Blake, it was against her silence. In a world where even Karlie Kloss managed to like Taylor's engagement post, Blake's absence spoke volumes. While fans debated, insiders claimed Taylor had already made up her mind. The godmother role wasn't just on pause. It was gone. But the biggest consequence wasn't just public outrage, it was the private decision Taylor made that could change this friendship forever. Here's where the feud takes on a bigger meaning. In Hollywood, godparent titles aren't just sentimental, they're symbolic. They represent trust, loyalty, and family. By revoking the role, Taylor isn't just cutting off Blake. She's sending a message: you are no longer family. This isn't the first time Taylor has publicly drawn a line. Think about Katy Perry. Think about Karlie Kloss. When relationships sour, Taylor doesn't fade quietly, she slams the door shut. And fans often follow her lead. So, what does this mean for Blake? For one, her reputation is already fragile. Losing Taylor's support means losing a powerful ally, one who could have helped repair her public image. Instead, Blake is left with the Queen of Mean label, industry hesitations, and now a broken friendship that's playing out in the press. Maybe Taylor is just stepping back quietly. Maybe she's not making a scene. Case closed, right? Wrong. Because whispers are growing louder that Taylor isn't content with silence. She may actually want the godmother role cut formally, with notice delivered through mutual friends, or worse, legal channels. That's not just a boundary. That's a line in concrete. So here we are. A friendship that once looked unbreakable, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, sisters in Hollywood, is now crumbling so completely that even the kids are caught in the crossfire. Taylor Swift, the godmother who once stood proudly beside Blake's family, is reportedly stepping away for good. To some, it's harsh. To others, it's necessary. But either way, it's heartbreaking. And here's the kicker. This might not even be the final chapter. Because Blake Lively is not the type to fade quietly into the background. If Taylor shuts the door, Blake may just fight back, and Hollywood loves nothing more than a comeback, even if it's messy. Thanks for watching Celebrity Watchline. Don't forget to subscribe and keep the drama coming.